Hey, Nerferders, I'm Addy Thomas.
I am Ben Melton.
And we've got
Jmike.
Hooray!
who I'm pretty sure is not an actual person, but just cats in a trench coat.
Wow. Every time I think that I'm really mean to you, Addy just like piles on and I go,
I know, right?
I've got room. I can
We
be
just
meaner.
drive each other. That's what we do.
I can be meaner.
So hurtful.
Cats in a trench coat wasn't the most insulting thing.
No,
you
it's
might
not.
actually kind of embrace being cats in a trench coat, right, Jmike?
I'm not going to say no.
See? That might have actually been the highest compliment I could have paid him.
All right. Well, what are we doing?
We're talking about Justice League.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, my favorite.
You're not gonna. You're actually
liar.
gonna be a little bit blindsided by this
Okay.
because I went to see it a second time
Yeah.
because I was asleep.
Most of it. Yeah.
And there was a certain point that I fell asleep, which we'll come back to. But I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I
get that.
I really enjoyed it. It's definitely not a perfect movie.
Never.
Heavily flawed. There are plenty of things I'm gonna rant that were terrible about in this movie.
Yeah.
But like I'd put this as like 6 out of 10, maybe 7. But yeah, it
I
was
gave
fun.
it a 6.5 out of 10.
Yeah. I think
This
7's high.
Yeah, 7 is high. I feel it as I say it. But yeah, you know.
The
but
CGI
still,
knocked it down like an extra 5 points.
well, who does?
The CGI.
Yeah. Oh my god.
CGI in this movie is a problem.
You know what though? This reminded me a lot of Green Lantern, and in some ways also of like it's in between Green Lantern and Iron Man 2. Like, and I actually totally enjoy Iron Man 2, but I get why a lot of people don't like it because of its structural issues. And it has some of the similar structural issues just because it's trying to do way too much. But very much like Green Lantern, it has some like really good concepts, but some really terrible execution. You know?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So
I don't disagree with you. It's not the worst movie I've ever seen by a long shot. But it is not a movie that I love by a long shot either.
Yeah.
Like I give it I'll give it a generous 5. Of like, it was good. It was fun. Like I remember sitting in the theater and like enjoy. Like, oh well, this is kind of cool. I always kind of wanted to see that. Look at that. That's fun. Like, there's some great sequences, some standalone sequences that I absolutely love in this movie. The sequence on Themyscira with,
that was awesome.
with them
Yes.
defending the
that
mother
was
box.
so cool. I was still awake then, guys.
That scene is by far the best scene in the entire movie.
I think second best. You know, I like the fight against Superman.
Yeah, that was a
when he
great- that was a
first,
great scene.
Rezzes.
No. I just didn't. That did not work for me at all.
Even
I
when-
was still sore about how they resurrected him.
Oh, yeah,
because
no,
it's the
that-
dumbest
yeah,
resurrection
it was dumb.
ever.
And it resulted in one of the dumbest moments in the entire movie when they leave the mother box on like a
the
random sedan.
So people are just leaving shit all over the place in this movie. Like people are just dropping stuff where they shouldn't, left and right. There's so many things that people do in this movie that make no damn sense.
Okay.
That like that's one of the that's worth at least a point on my scale of what's wrong with this movie.
Yeah. So here's the thing, though. We also walked into this movie knowing
Oh, you knew it was going to be a shit show.
it was either going to be a train wreck or a train derailing. Like there was
People were going to die. It was
Yeah.
how many? Are we going to have the?
Let's see how many explosions we can enjoy on this.
Yes,
It was
exactly.
sort of the
Exactly.
thought process going into
Yeah,
this movie.
yeah. Was anybody you wanted to die going to be on that train?
Yeah.
That's really the only thing that was going to save it. And look, I think they did a masterful job of trying to correct the problems that they had in BVS. They started filming this immediately after BVS. Like scripts were done, they went into production like as soon as BVS was out. So they didn't have a shit ton of time to find out, that everybody hated Zack Snyder's.
Snack Snyder? There
Snack
you go.
Snyder?
Snack Snyder.
That's his new name.
Snack Snyder. That's my new Star Wars role-playing name.
There you go. I like that.
Snack
Everything
Snyder.
needs to be dark and moody.
Snack Snyder is his
I
evil
actually
twin.
like that. I hope you do that
his
for our next
evil
game.
twin, where everything is really fun and light and pink. Zack Snyder, like it took him a while to figure out, like, oh, everybody kind of doesn't like where he's taking this, so they had to do some course correction, and we started hearing about Joss in March, and then because of personal reasons, Zack ended up leaving the film. And Joss took over, and you can clearly see that this is two different people's films.
Oh yes,
like it is
very obvious.
It's like this scene is a Zack Snyder scene, and this scene is a Joss Whedon scene. Yeah, like it's real obvious throughout the film. So that being said, like they did a great job of polishing that turd to make it enjoyable at all.
Yeah,
I give them all the credit in the world for that. It's just not a good movie. Like the basic premise of it is so dumb. I couldn't get over just how stupid, like it just didn't make any sense to me.
Really?
At all.
Why?
Okay, so the premise of the movie is that they, 6,000 years ago or 5,000 years ago, it took the Amazonians, the humans, and the Atlanteans with the help of the lanterns to beat...
A lantern.
Yeah, okay.
It's two.
It's one.
Okay.
It is only one?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought there was two.
I
as
thought
well,
it was
the way
two, but it was
I thought one died in the scene, and like
there was
one
still
left.
another one, yeah.
So you first see the one who's flying with a cape. I thought that was Alan Scott, but you never really see the front of the guy. But apparently, it's the guy that's then hit down and then killed. So it is supposed to be
all just one. It's just one lantern.
For the one for the sector, for 2814.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, so anyway, so it takes all of them, and they beat what's his name? Steppenwolf.
Hungry
right.
like a wolf. Just remember that.
Hungry like a wolf. Gotcha. So got the greatest helmet ever. They beat him, right?
Yeah.
And then they split up the mother boxes. Everybody takes one.
Yeah.
And then for 5,000 years, he doesn't show up again until Superman dies.
Right, because
Superman's not there to protect him.
Yeah.
Now Superman's only 30
and
years.
no lanterns.
Yeah, no lanterns. They say that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we had no indication that there were lanterns in this universe until somebody says that.
Right.
Okay. So for 4,970 years, he could have come back at any point in time.
No, why do you say that?
Because he only comes back after Superman dies.
No, but where the assumption is there have been lanterns around too, and we just haven't seen them.
He says that in the commercial.
He says there are no lanterns now.
Yeah.
Does he say that in the movie? Because I don't remember that in the movie.
Yeah,
I remember that in the
there.
commercial.
No, he said it when he was fighting. When who was he talking to? Was he talking to?
It was hard to. Here's the thing: Steppenwolf was boring as hell, and he looked terrible too. He looked like a '96, he had the quality of the Diablo 2 cinematics, which the Diablo 2 cinematics were great for their time
for 1997.
Yes, but they're not so great in 2017. But
it just didn't make sense to me. Like I didn't to me it was like, well, why didn't he just come back like 2,000 years later and whoop ass when everybody's already fragmented and the Atlanteans are already pissed at the Amazonians and nobody's talking and the Earth people are just it seems like it would have been really easy just to come back.
The impression I got is we don't know why the lanterns have disappeared and why someone isn't covering 2814 right now.
Commercial sales. Killed him.
That's toy sales. Yeah, Ryan Reynolds
toy sales killed the lanterns.
Yeah, well, that is the answer. And it still hurts my heart, guys. Come on. Just to maybe I should throw this in here. But the first moment I fell asleep was right after the lanterns showed up,
you were like, yeah!
Which I honestly think was just so much excitement and shock in that moment
passed out.
that I just passed out.
Like,
and then the rest of it, I just kept on waking up and then falling back and waking up and falling back. I saw moments here and there the rest of the movie until I went back and watched it.
You were like, Addy,
I finally pieced it all together.
What? Dang it, Addy!
But there's so many dumb moments in this movie.
Yeah,
though.
so the Steppenwolf rationale. Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's the best, but I don't think it's any worse than what I've seen with an average sort of villain, superhero villain. It felt very Lord of the Rings to me, and I kind of wish they had actually opened with that. Apparently, there was a lot more content to that prologue.
I imagine because this was supposed to be again 2 movies.
Yeah, 2 movies, and also like a whole lot longer than the less than 2 hour runtime it had, even for this one.
Yeah.
So and a Lord of the Rings style opening where they kind of explained the mother boxes. I thought it was a little tough because you're right. There is a lot of exposition in this movie to explain everything, and Steppenwolf talking to explain just every little bit of this movie. So that didn't help. So it would have been nice if they had totally that Fellowship of the Ring style prologue to explain the mother boxes, to explain who Steppenwolf is and who he wanted to be, and who he was supposed to be in all of this. Because the one benefit of going with Steppenwolf as opposed to anybody else is there's not a whole lot of judgment going into who Steppenwolf is. Yes, he is not someone anybody cares about. But that's also, in some ways, that's also a positive. He's a blank slate for them. The problem is they left that slate blank.
Yeah, they didn't do anything with him. He was real, like, of all the criticism for Marvel gets for like having really shitty villains, like this one was right on par with that.
I totally agree with that. Like, but I will also say that is a I do think this may have been one, there's a victim of bad CGI, doing motion capture totally separately from the rest of the cast, like really showed. It was just absolutely obvious. It felt like we were watching some of the Star Wars prequel special effects moments where you knew they didn't need to do a green screen shoot here, but they could have actually like had him in motion capture with the rest of the group. Like, yes, I know he's so much bigger than anybody else there, but even for for Force Awakens, even though Snoke's hologram is like significantly larger than everyone else in that room, they still had Andy Serkis sit up, so much higher than the guy playing Hux and Kylo Ren, so that they could get that sense of that conversation. There were things they could have done to make that work. I do think, though, some of maybe Steppenwolf's story, or in lack of lack of clear motivations, is a victim of forcing this movie under a 2 hour runtime, because this movie is really, really packed. Yeah. And there's no real time to breathe in this movie. And I do think that hurts it a whole lot, even though, and along with it trying to do so many different things. Mm-hmm. But what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree, but I also felt bored at times. Yeah. Where it was like, if it's so packed and it's so like it's trying to do so much, and the execution is really bad, because I remember feeling like, okay, like, I don't care.
I think there's a key reason for why you were bored, and I think his name is Cyborg.
Yes, there we go.
Go on, Jmike.
Yes, Cyborg
you have
is
some
the
feelings
worst.
about this.
He is the absolute worst. Oh my gosh, I think I was saying boo the entire time he was
Every
on screen.
time he came on screen, Jmike was sitting next to me, and he just goes, boo, until the people around us just started laughing after like the 10th time.
Yeah, oh gosh, I don't know why they keep deciding to putting Cyborg in the Justice League universe now.
We know it's Jeff Johns.
I don't know why.
Likes him, and he doesn't like Martian Manhunter. So
I will take Booster Gold at this point.
Well, Booster Gold sounds like a lot of fun. Like, so that's not really like.
But he's not supposed to be there anyway. Yeah. But
I would definitely Cyborg's power set, like for how they used him in this movie, it made sense that he was there.
Well,
I never watched Teen Titans, so I don't have a dog in this race. Like, I thought he was fine.
He's an iPhone with arms and legs.
Yeah, I thought he was just, and I guess part of it is also
I wouldn't go into battle without my iPhone. Okay, like that shit can do it. Like Siri can tell me a lot of shit. Like he played an important part in this movie.
He did. He played a very important part because his origin is tied to the mother boxes, very much like that Justice League New 52 initial arc for it. I think the problem was, and this is also a victim of the story that they were trying to tell with them, is that, he's losing his humanity. So they also lost his charisma along with his humanity. And that's a tough, like, you need. I think they tried to use they didn't use the Flash enough to maybe help bring that out, because they at one moment, like, where it really works well is when they're digging that grave, when they're digging up Superman's grave.
There's okay.
They do play off each other pretty well, as finally Cyborg's playing the straight man to Flash's funny man, and it was like you finally saw a little bit of chemistry there. It's not great. Trust me, I'm not a huge fan of it. for me, Flash and Aquaman were the standouts for this movie. I'll take dude bro Aquaman, all the time over a lot of what they did in this movie. Over any another shot of Cyborg, I'll take more Aquaman. So I don't know.
Only one shot.
The only thing that bothered there's a couple things that bothered me about that scene. One, you got two of your heroes grave robbing, essentially. It's like, that's all right. Okay, I didn't expect.
We've never seen one, really?
I wasn't expecting that. All right, I'll be honest with you.
Which is fun.
It was different. I was just like, okay, that's not really where I saw this going. Especially since we already saw the end of BVS. We saw the ground rising up. Off of Superman's grave, so I didn't really understand why we needed to resurrect him.
Well, that never made any damn sense either, but yeah.
Right. So
that's Zack's or Zack Snyder's version.
Zack Snyder's version is that
that's his version of hope.
Okay, is that ground just floats.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is you got the world's fastest guy, and you got the guy who can turn his arm into a shovel. And they're digging the slowest goddamn hole I've ever seen anybody dig.
I thought that was a little weird too.
I was like, you guys should have been done with this 2
seconds ago.
Yeah, what is it? What do you have time to talk about? What are you doing?
Building chemistry, guys.
It didn't make any sense. It really didn't make any sense at all. That being said, I did kind of like the banter back and forth between them, which is fine. It's just that whole scene, what they were doing didn't make any sense at all.
I can forgive that, though.
I think my biggest gripe with that, for the mother boxes thing, is that they went back to the terraforming thing all over again. Oh my
God, yeah.
I was like, why do we keep going back to terraforming?
Zack Snyder wants to terraform Earth. I think that's the message.
The mother boxes,
you gotta stop him.
The mother boxes are supposed to be portals, dimensional portals.
Yeah.
I'm like, why? What is his fixation with terraforming? Can somebody please answer me that question?
Yeah, I don't know why Steppenwolf really he wants to terraform Earth. I thought he wants to get back to Apocalypse.
Yeah.
And sort of take over, challenge Darkseid was sort of the idea that they were also trying to do.
Yeah.
So again, it was lack of clear motivations. I don't think there's anything we can do to justify Steppenwolf
in anything he does.
Yeah.
I'm angry.
Well, but let's move on to some other stuff here. So we got Flash, we got Aquaman. We've talked a little bit. We talked a little bit about Cyborg already. Let's talk a little bit more about Flash. What are your guys' thoughts with Flash?
Oh, he was fun.
Yeah,
he was one of the better parts.
Yeah, they did a little too much at times, but
he's the clumsiest superhero I have ever seen. He falls at least 5 times in this movie.
I told you. See,
that's you told me.
I told you.
He trips twice. He trips twice, Ben.
It felt like 5.
He gets hit with a harpoon at one point. He gets shot. There's a difference.
Whatever, man.
That's not considered clumsy.
Whatever. I thought here's what I thought the scenes where he was Barry Allen were good. I liked him as Barry Allen. I thought they did better with bullet time and the speed aspect with Wonder Woman than they did with the Flash.
Okay.
Visually and just kind of getting the sense of it.
Yeah.
I thought Wonder Woman using her speed was much more interesting and compelling. I thought it was just a little gratuitous with all the lightning and everything. I know that's how it is in the comic books or whatever, and that's fine. It's the visual of it. It didn't work well as a hero for me.
Yeah. I like that it was a little bit different than what we've seen. It's not quite the same as what we saw on the TV show. It was different from Quicksilver in both the MCU version
and he didn't die.
and the X-Men version of it too. So I did like that there was a new another thing to kind of distinguish it, and it didn't feel so Zack Snyder-y that
Oh, it did to me.
Did it?
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
it did to me. It felt very 300.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
The way it slowed down so much, it was that quick and then just real slow, and then you could really the lightning and everything was really painted, which gave me it cued a lot of that this is Zack Snyder's.
There is a lot of Zack Snyder, but I think that's just
which is fine. I don't dislike Zack Snyder's visuals. I like Zack Snyder's visuals.
This one it was a little tough to.
I didn't like his suit. With all the strings on it.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan. So this is an interesting thing. I think everybody's effects were suffered a little bit in this movie because even Batman's suit just looked like he went to Party City and bought padding. And and then Aquaman's looked fine. Cyborg definitely did not look good. And the Flash, and I'm not a fan of the armored Flash.
I mean,
look.
they explained it a little bit, like Bruce explained it when he first meet him.
But what I guess what I'm heading towards is more the visual issues with it feels like, and you notice this especially in the first scene with Batman, where everything looks like a fake set. Because it was a set that was I'm pretty sure that scene was meant to be in the dark. And they just like it was like Whedon just like lightened everything up. And in fact, you do see the scene that where they fight Superman out by his memorial in the trailers is actually at night. So in the movie, it is in day, but it isn't like fully day.
Yeah, it was like really overcast.
Yeah,
Whedon was like,
there's a storm coming in.
It's like, we're just turning up the dials throughout this entire
Lighten it up, boys.
Which is, I think, one of the things that really helped emphasize just how bad, just made the CGI across the board look bad.
Yeah, because you can't hide it.
Yeah, but it seems like another one of those things that may have been mandated. Is like, we don't want this dark tone anymore from Zack Snyder. We heard what people liked in Wonder Woman and what they enjoy in Marvel movies, and it's brighter colors is one of those things.
Yeah, like you said, it also incorporated it into the suits too.
Yeah.
Like especially Superman's suit where he had the different accents of
which was I understand the note. I was fine with the look of the Man of Steel suit. This one looked bedazzled.
I don't know where he got it. That's what I want to know. Like, where'd you get the new suit? You just got resurrected. Who had a suit for him?
Batman.
Where did he go? Batman's got a bedazzler back in the Batcave.
Sorry.
I'm so sad he's dead.
I'm sorry, Clark.
By the way, which is a really nice Batcave, like all that wood paneling.
Right. Nicer than the mansion.
It was the Bat Lake house, actually. Yeah.
Much nicer than what he did with the mansion.
Yeah.
Which was nothing.
I don't understand why he's left Wayne Manor in such disarray.
Well, so that he could build the clubhouse for all of his friends later, I guess.
In the woods.
Yeah. It's a good movie.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go out of my way to watch it again.
Well, so here, let's move on from, we talked a little bit of Flash, we talked to some visuals.
Oh, okay. We still have more to talk about?
There's lots to talk about.
Lots and lots and lots.
Okay.
What's wrong with you?
You just don't want to talk.
Exactly.
Well, it was a long weekend.
It was.
Yeah, so that's fair. And a long day for you today. But let's move on from that. So we've got Aquaman. What are your thoughts with Aquaman?
Aquaman was fun.
He was fun.
Like, I didn't have anything wrong to say about him.
Yeah.
Especially the lasso of truth scene.
That was fun.
That was
a really
fun.
well written
That was a great
scene.
moment.
Really well written scene.
Definitely a great Whedon moment.
Yeah. That was that. You could tell. Well, especially some of the scenes that he actually came in and was like, we had to scratch this one out, and we're going to put this in instead.
Well, and you know what's a good guide is actually Wonder Woman's wig. Like, it's the one that's less curly, I think, is the Zack Snyder shots, and the one that is a little bit more curly is
a Joss Whedon shot.
Yeah, is a Joss Whedon shoot. But yeah, so, I mean, there were moments like that, which is it's terrible that you can so easily tell some of that. I was a little disappointed that they didn't do a little bit more in Atlantis, but I think they want to also give, is it James Wan, I think, who's directing the Aquaman movie? Right. I guess they also want to give him the time to really establish Atlantis.
Yeah.
Which is why I think the Themyscira, scene really, stood out, because they were able to establish Themyscira in Wonder Woman's movie, so they had more room to play with that.
Yeah, stealing it out of Atlantis seemed pretty easy.
Yeah, it was a little. Yeah. It wasn't as easy as stealing the third one. The third one that was left on a Kia Soul.
Yeah, the challenge was not hard to get those back. It was like, I got to beat this woman. All right.
Yeah.
But I do like, she was awesome though.
Yeah.
Like seeing her fight and using her powers and manipulating the
Are we sure that was Mira?
Yeah, that was definitely
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it's definitely Mira.
Yeah, it's definitely Mira.
Yeah. It was really cool. Like, I thought that looked great. I thought that scene looked
she fought
great.
great, but when she started talking, she was extremely monotone.
Well, she did date Johnny Depp, so
you were supposed to be here, but your mother sent you to the surface. You need to go and help the surface people.
Line.
Yeah, that was not great. It was not great. Well,
don't worry, when you get
I'm
done,
sure she'll be better
back.
in the real movie.
I sure hope so.
Yeah, please.
I sure hope so.
Somebody
She
fix
looks
that.
great.
Yeah, but I want that Aquaman movie to do really well. Like
I do too.
That's one of our dark horses, I guess, at this point. So here, I think. Well, obviously, you guys can add more into this. One of my big complaints for this movie, early on, there's a lot of like some of the establishment was very Zack Snyder-y. Like the world is super angry now that they've lost hope.
Right, like really, like Superman's dead now. Everybody's blue.
Yeah, and they're like fighting each other and everything. It was a really weird like people have dealt with people that they love dying and celebrity deaths before. It's not like when Princess Diana died, like everyone started rioting, and it felt like that was what they were kind of implying here.
Yeah.
That was a little weird, but the thing that was the most off-putting to me. So Martha Kent leaves the farm and comes to the city to visit Lois. But she leaves the farm because the bank is foreclosing on the farm.
Yeah.
How long has the Kent family owned that house? Like, what kind of mortgage did they have on this place?
500-year mortgage.
500-year mortgage. So this makes the Pa Kent from Man of Steel even worse to me.
Worst dad ever.
Him reaching out to tell Clark no was like, I just don't feel like making any more payments to me.
The other thing that I noticed about that is that why didn't anybody ask Bruce to pay for it? Like they wait till the end of the movie for Bruce to pay for it after Superman's back.
Yeah.
And they're like, he can't pay for it because he's so sad that Superman's dead.
I feel so guilty. I'm so
feel
guilty.
so guilty. Sorry, you're just gonna have to foreclose. Oh, he's back. Let's save the farm.
That leads to an interesting thing. What did you think about Batman in this movie? Was he even more mopier than usual because of his like?
No.
Yeah.
No, I thought he was upbeat and like he's like I thought he was.
Upbeat.
Upbeatish.
Yeah, for Batman standards.
Yeah. I thought he was fine. Like I liked this tone for Batman. I thought he was fine.
There were some weird decisions. I thought one he was like clearly like very very
Guilty.
sorry about killing, like leading to Clark's death. But I also thought it was weird the moment he decides to try to go suicide at the end of the movie. There was no real I was completely blindsided by that.
Yeah, he does a couple un-Batman-y things in this movie.
Yeah.
One, he lets that burglar on the rooftop in the first scene go.
Right?
He's just like, oh yeah,
let
just
him hang in there.
take that shit and go.
Not just that, he talks to Alfred by name on the phone.
Alfred. Anybody with half a brain would have figured out he's Bruce Wayne by now if he's that dumb. Like, yeah, and well, everybody calls each other by their name in this movie. Like that's the thing that goes on. Like it's like Clark, stop it.
Yeah, like out in the open.
Yeah, there's like cops standing right there. Right. Clark, knock it off.
I think the Flash was like the only person like, oh, sorry, you're Bruce, you're Batman right now, aren't you?
Yeah,
sorry about that.
Yeah, everybody else just didn't give a shit.
Yeah,
which was funny in its own way. And so he leaves that guy out on the thing, and then like he's super mopey about killing Superman, which apparently the whole world is. So I guess he's just like patient zero.
Yeah.
And then like he tries to he does the suicide run, which was a little weird, but I kind of understood it because like he's the one guy who doesn't have superpowers, and they've established that he's been doing this for a long time,
right? And
he's kind of like, I don't know how much longer I can do this. They had that scene with him and Alfred. They had that scene with him and Diana.
Yeah, I guess it just didn't stand out to me, so it was a little like, wait, why are you trying to sacrifice yourself? This didn't seem like a thing you needed to sacrifice yourself for. Like, I get Batman doing the sacrifice move. That's not out of the ordinary, since it always they've at times they've implied that it definitely feels like he has a death wish, but this one was a little. I thought this Batman was a little bit weird. It wasn't too bad because they had established him in the previous in Batman versus Superman, and also Wonder Woman worked well because they had established her before.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the Superman, and that is a rare thing for me to say.
Well, at least they didn't make him a punching bag.
Yeah.
Oh no.
But that
as
movie
soon as
was
he shows up,
that movie's over.
Yeah. I like that. It'll be interesting to see how they do that in future movies. Like, is he going to be do they treat him like the Hulk, where in Age of Ultron, where they sideline him until they need someone to really go in and take care of something? Because that might be an interesting thing to do, especially with the level of destruction he caused. And to play it kind of the way that they do the Hulk, because if you let the Hulk loose, you got problems. Yeah, you're gonna destroy a couple city blocks probably.
I don't think they're gonna do that. I do think in the next movie they're gonna have someone who's probably Darkseid who knocks him down like 8 pegs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I don't. That was a tough one though, because like you said, when he showed up, like Steppenwolf was like, "Oh wow, oops, I'm sorry. Yeah, I shouldn't be here."
Right.
Just pack my shit and go.
I'm sorry, guys. Well, yeah. It's gonna be rough to see how they tone that down though.
Yeah. But I enjoyed him. Like he was smiling and happy, which
especially
was different.
the first scene in the movie.
Yeah.
The first scene in the movie when they have the little camera, the video thing with the kids.
Yeah.
Where his face is all wonky.
Yes.
Yeah. One of a number of scenes. Yeah.
I got space lips.
Well, it's funny because his upper lip isn't moving when he's choking out Batman at one point. So it's like, "Do you bleed?" Which was a nice callback. But
the scene with him in the Flash is still one of my favorite scenes in the movie.
I do enjoy that moment. Well, all of the scenes with the Flash, to be honest.
Yeah, because they did the callback to the race from the Superman animated series.
When his eyes just follow.
Yeah, when his eyes follow the Flash, and Barry's eyes get super big.
Yeah. But then but to add to that, also when they're rescuing some of the civilians in Chernobyl, like all 3 of them, and Barry's helping the family in the pickup truck. And he just flies by with the
entire apartment building.
Yeah, I mean, those are fun moments. Those are the kind of moments you want to see.
Yeah.
Superman. Have. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else you can do with that. That's always been kind of my problem with Superman is he can be so ridiculously OP that it makes everybody else kind of pointless.
Yeah.
Although, because I felt like that team by themselves could have beaten Steppenwolf.
You think so?
Yeah.
Every time they went up against him, it didn't feel like that.
But I felt like they could have swung
that the other way. It was a chemistry thing.
Yeah, that if we just work together, guys. Yeah. One of those things, like it still could have worked.
Yeah.
If they had found Cyborg found the weakness in his shield or whatever. Yeah, something stupid like that.
But it's Cyborg. It wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, he needs charisma. I was suggesting to Jmike earlier this week that they to really infuse some extra charisma, they need to have a Tyler Perry Cyborg movie.
The Medea Cyborg.
I forgot all about that.
I'm not on board for that. I'm gonna.
Thank you,
just
man.
going on record
I appreciate
right now. That. I don't hate Cyborg like you guys do. I'm not okay with that.
What's wrong with you, Addy?
I'm just embracing how bad that Cyborg is.
He was the worst. The worst ever. Oh my gosh.
So let's move on. The soundtrack for the movie. Any thoughts? So Junkie XL was not on this movie. So they got rid of that sort of the BVS sound.
Yeah, that was great. But during this one, I love the soundtrack for this movie because, when you were falling asleep, I was like, "Hey, Addy, did you hear that? That's from Batman animated series. Yeah. Oh my gosh!"
Well, it wasn't from Bat. It was Elfman's.
From that and from 89 too.
Yeah, which is similar. Anyway.
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, Addy, you hear that?"
And
Superman's, what? Yeah, and Superman's theme was in there every time they showed up. So
the John Williams theme. So
I was like,
it was cool. I was happy with that. It was nice that we were talking, I think, last week's news episode about
having the callbacks.
Yeah, but I think that really helped this movie quite a bit. To kind of call back to those cool moments and those memories of that hero, because it unlike what Elfman said, just keep reusing those themes. It made sense for the Nolan movies to break out of that with the Batman, with Batman's themes, because those movies were significantly different. But the '89 theme totally worked with this Batman. In this movie, especially because it was kind of it was definitely coming back around to what he used to be, in sort of like that '89 Michael Keaton sense. So, I think that definitely worked this time around. So, any favorite moments, hated moments, any other thoughts?
I love the scene, the Wonder Woman scene where she saves the
bank.
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought that scene was really, really good. The way it was shot, the way it was handled, exploring her power set, she felt more powerful, more formidable now than she did in Wonder Woman, which was appropriate. It's, however many years later. I thought that was really good. That and the Themyscira, those two sequences to me were outstanding. The rest of it was
You know what I'll say also, as bare bones as her arc is in this movie, as far as becoming the leader of the team, I thought it was really good. I really liked sort of how she functioned as part of the team, and it's a dynamic we haven't seen in any of these other superhero team-ups, at least not that I can think of, but sort of Wonder Woman sort of like motherly sort of role in that group. You know, especially like when she's talking. It was one of the things I actually appreciated when I got into the rewatch and I saw her interacting with Cyborg and with Flash. There was a very different way she brings that team together, but is very welcoming. Like the kind of line she had. There was a moment where she's talking to Cyborg in that city block that's darkened, and she acknowledges that she knew he was back at the lake spying on them, and says that I could have caught you then. But it was the way she delivers that line is totally different from how Batman would have said that line, because Batman you would have assumed he was about to kill him, whereas hers was a little bit more nurturing and welcoming. Yeah. And when Cyborg does join the team up, she has that same sort of attitude. Yeah, I did like that different dynamic. So or
even at the end when they do like, oh, we're gonna put together a table over there for 6, and she's like, and a few more. Like that's nice. That is nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So
that perspective.
It's nice to see that with 2 movies in a row, they've done a great job with their character. Yeah. So I guess you can make an argument for 3. She was one of the highlights in BVS, but as much as her story didn't make a whole lot of sense in that movie. But moving on from that, let us know what you think about Justice League. Do you think we're too far off the mark? Do you think we're too harsh?
Hold on. Yeah. What did you think about the post-credit scene with Lex and?
I like the scene. I don't like the wig or
it was the
beard.
The beard.
The beard looks bad.
Yeah, for Deathstroke. So I know it's faithful to the comic book look. It looks almost exactly out of it, but it looks so fake.
I thought so too. It looked like Superman's lips.
No, it didn't look as bad as Superman's lips. Superman's lips are going to be up there.
But I was just like, but I couldn't take my eyes off of it.
Superman's lips were worse than Steppenwolf. Okay?
Yes, agreed. But like,
so the Superman's lips, Steppenwolf,
as far as like being
hair,
being distracting, like I was just like, I can't not look at that. That is awful.
Yeah, they need to change that up. Like was it Joe Manganiello? I guess. I
don't know how to say his last name.
I'm assuming that's how you say his last name.
We're gonna go with that.
I just remember he's come a long way from being Flash Thompson in that first Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie. But, yeah,
that was him.
Yep.
I feel like I learned something new today.
Right.
The more you know.
There you go. Be careful, they might sue us for that.
You heard nothing.
Yep, he looks like a good Deathstroke aside from the hair, though. So I have a feeling someone will get notes on that.
What did you feel about the line of like, I think we need a league of their own?
I wanted somebody to say, nobody cries in
Are they starting a women's softball league? Is that what's
Which
happening?
would be the best Justice League 2 is just like
a
the whole thing
game versus the good guys, bad guys?
And have big action scenes like through up until it, but the climax is a softball match. Nobody cries in the Legion of Doom.
So are we going to get Legion of Doom or are we getting the Injustice League?
I think Legion of Doom. Injustice League is... Yeah, it's definitely.
You think so?
Doom. Yeah,
definitely Legion of Doom.
Yeah, Justice League is the Justice League bad.
Yeah,
that's different.
Okay,
we're not getting the Justice League.
Okay,
not yet, at least. Maybe eventually. I wouldn't be surprised if we eventually do.
Who all do you think we'll get for Legion of Doom?
So
depends on who's in the movies. And
I think they'll pick and choose who does well. I mean, Ocean Master is going to be the villain for
Aquaman.
Yeah.
Oh, we're not getting Black Manta?
I think Ocean Master and Manta are going to be.
Okay. But who's going to be in? But you think Ocean Master will make it into the Legion and not Black Manta?
I think Manta will.
Okay, that's what I'm asking. I'm asking who's going to be in the Legion.
I'm just thinking who the villains are.
Okay, all right. So we get Black Manta, Lex, Deathstroke.
I want Grodd so bad.
Gorilla Grodd.
Oh my God,
would be amazing
with great CGI, hopefully.
Yeah,
the CGI they have on the TV show for Grodd is pretty good.
Yeah, but they also get around some of that by having him be a telepathic gorilla, like communicating telepathically rather than having to, do anything. But I mean, like again, we got Caesar, talking, so they can make it happen. it can be done.
We get Maurice.
Yeah.
Who else? All right, so Grodd, Lex, Black Manta, Deathstroke.
Whoever's in the next Wonder Woman.
Who's the Cheetah girl for Wonder Woman?
Cheetah.
Is it Cheetah or Chitara? It's Cheetah. Right.
Cheetah.
It's Cheetah. I think that would be cool.
I'd be fine with,
That's
a
great callback to the original Legion of Doom.
Right.
What about Solomon Grundy?
No.
Not yet. I want to see Grundy, but not yet.
Like have Cyborg go up against an Apple computer.
Well, if he's got 2 mouse buttons, he's already superior.
See, you have a couple options there. You could have Cyborg go up against a Mac, or go up against Russia. Like, you've got a lot of different
HAL
options.
9000.
HAL 9000.
Right. Yeah, there we go. I like that.
What are you doing, Cyborg?
Yeah, I don't know. You have a lot of different things. Or you could have Cyborg go up against the Samsung Note 7. That might be a great villain.
See whose battery lasts longer?
Right. No, that's the explosive one.
Yeah.
I can't contain it.
No. It's so hot.
I'm burning.
Yeah. So let's see. We've covered a potential Wonder Woman villain.
I think that's
villains.
probably it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess with Deathstroke, that is Deathstroke.
Yeah. Deathstroke is a Teen Titans villain.
But
yeah.
I think you just bring him in. Well, so maybe that's your Cyborg villain.
Yeah, you could if you wanted to. I mean, there's so many different things they could do, and they're not going to necessarily I have a feeling they're going to be a little less. Snyder likes his homages, and I think they're going to veer a little bit.
Well, I think we're done with Snyder.
Yeah,
I don't think Snyder's ever coming back.
Which is what I think as well. So I don't think we're going to get some of those necessarily tied in. There's a chance we'll see villains for other heroes be villains for heroes they weren't originally for, or necessarily someone you've seen them face off against. So which I'm fine with. I would actually like to see that. I mean, the talk is also with the Flash with a Flash movie is potentially putting Cyborg in the Flash movie, making it more Star Labs. Look, Jmike, I'm not crazy about it, but at this point we have Cyborg.
Why?
I hope they do some more grave robbing.
What I'm interested in seeing though is what their next step for Lantern is after this.
Introduce him.
I'm hoping that he shows up.
Well, we're getting Lantern Corps in 5 years or something like that?
I guess so. They keep on pushing it back, don't they? Well, we're getting Shazam as well. So we also have Shazam villains that can show up for this. So, and I am very excited. It looks like Case is also excited for Shazam. So Shazam I think might end up being
the big bright spot in the DC universe next to Wonder Woman.
Well, see, that's the other thing. We're also supposedly Black Adam is going to be introduced in Suicide Squad, which I don't think is a good idea, but I would like to see Black Adam be part of the Legion of Doom. So The Rock's Black Adam would
be great.
Would actually be fun.
Yeah,
in that group. So especially if they do the softball game to end the
League of Their Own.
Yeah. So. Again, let us know what you think of Justice League. All of our social media is available on our website, certainpov.com. And until next time, stay scruffy, my Nerf herders.